What's going on, everyone? Austin John Plays here, and today I'm going to be going over how you can ace your Space-Time Distortions in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Before we get into this, I just want to say thank you for all the people who have recently been subscribing. My little clock notified me that it went from 1.88 to 1.89, so that means over 10,000 people decided to subscribe over the last week, so thank you so much for that, which now means that the average view over the last week is 48% from subscribers and 52% from non-subscribers. So thank you for that. In addition, over the last week, 10% of you, 10% of all subscribers have decided to turn on all notifications, with 18% turning on just occasional notifications. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you for listening to the thing I say at every video and actually doing those things. We typically don't do channel sponsors here. You're not going to hear me talk about various VPNs or online services. Instead, just hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button, watching the video is the best way to support the channel. So thank you. Also, new merch if you're a fan of Legends Zelda Majora's Mask at austinjohnplays.com/merch. Great, let's get on with it. I was going to be saving this for after a video in which I go over how to quell the Frenzy Noble Cleaver, but it seems like no one's really having trouble with that, so I'm probably not going to be making a video on that. I do want to let you know that if you plan on completing the Pokédex of one area before moving on to the next area, there's no harm in quelling Cleaver and then just coming back here and grinding stuff out. That's essentially what I've been doing. I filled out the entire Pokédex of every single Pokemon available here, except like Crobat. And then I've just been playing here. After you quell the Frenzy Noble Cleaver, in this region as well as every other region, you are going to be able to experience what are called Space-Time Distortions. You're going to get a notification at the middle of your screen that's going to say a Space-Time Distortion seems to be forming, and then you're going to be seeing it on the map here. Space-time is growing unstable here. There's going to be a whole bunch of Pokemon that spawn in, and it's going to be very jarring, and you're not really going to know what's going on. And there's going to be what are the common Pokemon and what are the rare Pokemon. Inside of the giant circle, there are 3 attempts to spawn rare Pokemon. I have seen the spawn attempts fail, and therefore I've only had 2 Pokemon spawn in, but I believe it tries to do 3 spawn attempts. The Pokemon that could spawn in the rare spawn table inside of these time-space distortions for the first area is going to include Jotonian, Sneasel, and Weavile. Those are the only 2 Pokemon that are going to be spawning in those 3 spots. But there's going to be a large variety of other Pokemon that can spawn and are going to regularly spawn and despawn. That includes things like Ursaring, Haunter, Gengar, Lickitung, Licky, Eevee, Sylveon, Leafeon, Onix, Steelix, and I think there's more. All of these Pokemon you can get in other ways. The only Pokemon that are actually exclusive all fall in the rare spawn tables. Your first time in here, you're going to be like, whoa, the fact that I'm seeing Ursaring, Haunter, Gengar, Steelixes, Pokemon like that you haven't seen in this area, you're gonna want to catch everything. You really are. And then you're also gonna be seeing Eevee show up and you're like, okay, cool. But then you're gonna seeing Leafeons and Sylveons and you're like, whoa, I don't need to raise affection for this Eevee to evolve to Sylveon. Nope, there you go, just catch it. Also, all these Pokemon seem to scale based on your progression in the story. So that's pretty neat too. In the end game, if you come back to the first area, they are going to be higher level. Here are all of the rare/exclusive Pokemon that you're going to be finding in the Space-Time Distortions. Of the Obsidian Fieldlands, in the rare spawn table, you are going to be finding Sneasel and Weavile. In the Crimson Mirelands, the second area, you're going to be finding the entire Porygon line, with Porygon being the most common. You could also find Porygon 2 and Porygon Z. Only once you're in the post-game are you able to find Cyndaquil, Quilava, and Typhlosion. I also do want to mention that you can find the alpha variants of all of these Pokemon. So this Quilava right here, as you can see, is an alpha variant, is also a very nice level. In the Crimson Mirelands, in the common spawn table, you're going to find Flareon and Umbreon. Once we get to the Cobalt coastlines, you can find Magnemite and Magneton, Magnezone. Magnezone is actually readily available in the game. And the Coronet Highlands, so don't even worry about that. And in the common tables, you're going to be finding Vaporeon and Flareon. In the Coronet Highlands, you are going to be finding all 4 of the fossils. You're going to be finding Shieldon and Cranidos, as well as evolutions Rampardos and Bastiodon. And then you're also going to be finding the entire Rowlet line, including Rowlet, Dartrix, and Decidueye. However, in the common table, you're also going to be finding Jolteon and Magmortar, which is pretty neat. Also Sylveon's there, so that's cool. And then once you get to the Alabaster Icelands, you are going to be finding in the rare table Oshawott, Dewott, and Samurott. And in the common table, you are going to be finding Scizor, so you don't need to use a metal coat, as well as Glaceon and Espeon. I also do want to note that while you're in the first area, you may find Steelixes, and if you defeat Steelix, there is a chance it's going to drop a metal coat, so you can get an early Scizor. You could evolve an Onix into a Steelix, whatever you want to do with that. But these are, right here, the real prized possessions that you're going to be going after. Again, just saying it out loud for the people in the back, the starters are locked to the post-game from my findings. And you can find alpha variants, so you could find a level 69 alpha Quilava, level 69 Gapejaw Bog. That's pretty awesome. As far as the treasures that you are going to be finding in the Space-Time Distortion rifts, you are going to be finding all over the ground red shards, blue shards, and green shards. However, you're also going to be finding Stardust, Star Pieces, which sell for 5 grand each, Nuggets, which sell I think for 10 grand each, and Comet Shards, which sell for, I believe, 15 grand each. In addition, you are going to be finding a slew of evolutionary items. I think I've included all of them here minus 2. You're going to be finding all the stones, the fire, the water, the thunder, the leaf, the ice, and the moonstones, as well as the sun, shiny, dusk stone, and dawn stone. You can find a razor claw. You could also find a razor fang. You can find Reaper Cloths, Protectors, Electrolyzers, Magmarizers, as well as upgrades, Dubious Discs, Black Augurite, and Linking Cords. In fact, I'm pretty sure the only evolutionary item that you are not able to find in here is going to be the new Ursaring evolution, which is the Peat Block. As far as what items you should bring into these distortion rifts, I'm going to recommend obviously some balls. You're going to want some heavy duty balls too. So you may come across something real spicy and you may want to throw a jet ball, a gigaton, or an ultra ball at it. So just be cautious of that. Stealth spray is going to be useful, as well as orange berries. Some of the distortion rifts are not going to have any cover whatsoever, especially in the Icelands. You're gonna need smoke bombs in order to get through there cleanly. Revives and potions may be helpful as well. When going in here, bring your best of the best with you, because it's gonna get hairy. It's gonna get hairy. I also ran into a weird thing that I saved before a time-space distortion actually spawned in, right? It was just in the growing unstable mode, and then I restarted the game, and then I didn't get one showing up for like a very long period of time. I'm talking like 12 hours of gameplay. I actually had to uninstall my game and reinstall my game. I don't know if I experienced like a 1 in a million bug, or if there was something else going on in the background that was preventing it from spawning in. But that happened to me, and be cautious of that. All right, time-space distortion has appeared. If you look around, you're gonna see a bunch of items on the floor. As I mentioned, in this place, you're gonna be having the rare spawns, but you're also gonna be having the more common spawns. As I like to call them, the bouncers. You're gonna have 1 to 3 Pokemon spawn in, like this Onix and this Haunter over here, and they're going to despawn after about 30 seconds. So you can pop a stealth spray, hide in this bush. You don't want to leave the bush, and also whatever direction you're facing at the end of the 30 seconds, that's where the Pokemon are going to spawn in. So I'm going to throw a berry over there. I took a little bit of damage, that's absolutely fine. And look, they're gone. Oh, I was standing up because I took damage. But if I was crouching, they would have focused on that berry, and they would have not focused on me. If anytime your health is low, don't be afraid to get on your horse and get the heck out of here. But your first few times, you may want to, you know, catch those Lickitungs, those Ursaring, so on and so forth. Hey look, Sylveon appeared, and an Eevee as well. The items typically have a little bit of a glow around them, and the evolution items they're usually in like a large ball capsule. There's Sneasel, one of our rare spawns. Toxicroak, forgot him. Yep, he could be here too. Star pieces, star dust. This large capsule here, that's my electrolyzer. And my stealth spray wore off. That's fine. I wasn't being very stealthy in the first place. But the fact that you can get an Electabuzz and already have the item for it and it doesn't require trading, fantastic. You could also sort of cusp on the outside to see inside a little bit easier. Like I see that item over there. But when I was inside, it was very difficult to see because the game casts a very dark shadow on top of everything. Yeah, thumbnail. So once you've run around, you've seen that your rare spawns are just going to be the Sneasels and nothing else really fun in the first area. You've gotten all the items off of the floor and you're sure of it. You may want to just camp out a little bit because you never know if a spicy alpha might show up. Now this is an important thing to note that, you know, these Ursaring are going to despawn, so I'm not too worried about that. But that Sneasel is always going to remain there. I could catch it, I could battle it, or I could just run away outside of its viewing range, crouch down. Nope, that thing has got quite the viewing range, man. Fine, we battle. Yeah, level 55 Sneasel. And that's a fast boy, too. Fast girl. The actual Space-Time Distortion doesn't last very long. In fact, it's only like 3 to 5 minutes, usually averaging around that 4-minute mark. Now that's what I like to call field time. Anytime that you're in battle, that clock pauses and it's not going to despawn. So, say for example, I just came across a really rare Pokemon or an alpha Pokemon or something that I wanted, I would initiate combat to prevent it from despawning. So stealthier catches inside of time-space rifts are much more difficult. Oh, great example. Oh, Steelix, you gonna go eat that? Can I ball you? So if I don't catch that Steelix, I want that Steelix. All right, I'm gonna do battle with Steelix. Hopefully not everyone else joins in. Only Toxicroak joined in. Okay, I'm not too worried about that. I'm kind of worried about that. That's fine. Garchomp can help out in this situation. Let's just bulldoze Steelix. Fantastic. We defeated Steelix, and I could actually just run to where Steelix was. He dropped a bunch of iron and something else for me. However, we didn't get a metal coat. I don't think we did. I do like that you could just run and look at visibly what the drop was. Cool stuff, man. But if we knock everyone out and we have space in our inventory, then it just goes into our inventory. At the end of the battle, all I did was go back to my grass and I'm safe here. Sometimes just throwing out a berry to keep them away from you makes it a little bit easier. In addition, great way to just backshot everybody. And that Ursaring, as soon as it spawns back in, it's gonna despawn. Throw a berry out there. Get my feather balls, nice and cheap. And then at the very end, they all despawn. And the distortion faded. Just like that. So what do we get from this? We got an electrolyzer, some grit, dust, and iron chunks from defeating Steelix. We got 4 green, 3 blue, 8 red, 4 stardust, a star piece. Very nice. So we could craft star pieces with the shards and star dust once you purchase the recipe. Enough to make 1 star piece. I just made probably about $12,000 from that 4-minute experience, just from going around and collecting all the items on the floor. And that's not including once I have a huge surplus of extra evolution items if I wanted to sell those off. Like, I have 14 Magmarizers, 14 of them. If I wanted to shiny hunt Magmar and fully 100% this page, I only need to evolve 3. So there's no world in which I actually need to have 14 Magmarizers. So we could go ahead and sell 11 of them, extra 5 grand. This is also a way that before making your way to the second area and instead of grinding satchels, you can get almost all of the evolution items, which is pretty neat. I do want to say that you are going to reach a point that you're going to have a huge surplus of Stardusts compared to shards. So because of that, you may want to sell some of your Stardust, not all of it. And most of the time that you go into his time-space distortion, you are going to be getting enough Stardust in order to craft the maximum amount of star pieces, as per the shards that you picked up. So I can craft 17 star pieces with all of it in my inventory. Let's sell off my 80 Stardust for $80,000, my 51 star pieces for $255,000, my 10 Comet Shards for $150,000, my 32 Golden Nuggets for $320,000, I'm needing my Seeds of Mastery because this playthrough is in the end game, and boom, I've made $1 million. You may also be asking what causes these time-space distortions to spawn in. Once you progress with the main story and you no longer see the thing in the sky, do they continue? Yes, they do continue throughout your entire playtime. You don't need to worry about this being a limited event. It only gets better in the post-game because you get access to those starters. That's also the reason that I didn't go do this in one of the other regions that you can get the starters. Because, you know, last thing I need is for a level 80 Alpha Decidueye to show up when I'm trying to avoid showing that Pokemon, because I have had that happen. Level 80 Alpha Decidueye, and it used Brave Bird. That was the time that I saved before the rift, and then I closed the game and I reopened the game, and then it wasn't there, and then it didn't spawn for me. Trust me, if you had that opportunity too, you would risk it not happening for 14 hours for the chance of actually getting a level 80 Alpha Decidueye. Trust me. You want to spawn in a whole bunch of these? My advice is to take your Nintendo Switch, open up the kickstand if you have the OLED, and put it down. After 10 minutes of inactivity, the screen is going to automatically dim for the power saver settings, assuming that you have those on. Hit the minus button, look at the map. If you see a time-space distortion, pick it up and go there and do the thing, come back to camp. I've also noticed better luck going to not the first camp, but the second camp that you unlock in every region. Don't know if that actually makes a difference, just my own personal findings. And then, once you're done with it, you take your Switch, make sure autosaves are on. Make sure autosaves are on. If you saw my last video, just turn on autosaves, and then you just take your Switch and put it down again. Because 10 minutes later, you're gonna see it pop up. Sometimes you may be going to a rift once the rift already started, sometimes you're not. So just set it down, set it, forget it, check back every 10 minutes. If you're watching a TV show or something, just have it, you know, slightly visible, and when you have that big change of light, that's your notification of actually going and looking at it. Also, while you're at camp, if you're just gonna have this in the background, I recommend not having the Galaxy Merchant visible because his text bubble might trigger you a little bit. Instead, just kind of face out away from NPCs, but still at the camp so no Pokemon are gonna spawn and attack you. And then, just wait. You may reach a point in the game that you need one of the fossil Pokemon, or one of the starters, or Magnemite, or Jotonian Sneasel to evolve into Weavile for you to complete the dex, and this may be the last Pokemon you're missing, including Magnemite and Magneton, so you may actually reach a point that you just want to set it down, pick it up, go back at it. Heck, if you have a day that you want to watch a show and you want to kind of play this low-key on the side, great time to just farm up some funds. Really is. Well, there you go, guys. That's all my findings for the time-space distortions in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications. Until next time, Austin John out.